Good morning, East Alabama and West Georgia. This is Kevin Moon from God's Country. It's time for your primetime forecast on Dr. Don's weather. Now, here's my friend, Dr. Don.
Good Thursday morning, East Alabama and West Georgia. We have a tropical storm in the state of Florida that has shown interest in Alabama and Georgia. And that storm system is moving in our general direction. Our weather is going to go south this afternoon. Coming up in this morning's edition of your primetime forecast, we'll let you know exactly what you can expect across East Alabama and West Georgia. In this morning's edition of your primetime forecast from the Alpha Weather Center, Jamie Dukas, your local Alpha agent. Be sure you scan that QR code you see on your screen so that you can go over to Jamie Dukas's website and ask for that cost-free, no-obligation insurance quote. Save you some moolah. Absolutely. You can hit that link at the top of this video, scan the QR code, or call Jamie at 256-831-7770 to get that cost-free, no-obligation insurance quote. Takes just a couple of minutes, and Jamie will let you know just how much money he can save you. Let's jump into your weather forecast. Let's start this morning with your Storm Prediction Center convective outlook. Don't forget to follow us over on YouTube. Hit that subscribe button. It's free. And also click that little bell so that when we go live for severe weather coverage, you'll be guaranteed to get a notification that we are live. So a lot of weather headed our way for Alabama and Georgia from the remnants of Hurricane Nicole. Hurricane Nicole made landfall down in southern Florida this morning and is expected to move across central Florida today, perhaps back out in the Gulf of Mexico late this afternoon and for just a couple of hours, and then back into Florida and up into southern Georgia by this evening. But severe weather doesn't look very likely at this point for East Alabama and West Georgia. I think if there is going to be a tornado threat, that is primarily going to be limited to extreme northeast Florida, southeast Georgia, central and coastal South Carolina, and southwest North Carolina there along the coast. Don't really anticipate any tornadic activity across East Alabama and West Georgia because we're going to be on the good side of the storm. We're going to be to the left of the center of circulation, and typically that area does not see much in the way of tornadic activity with tropical landfalling systems. However, some of the heavier feeder bands that'll be wrapping around the center of circulation it's possible. It's not likely, but the chance of seeing severe weather this evening and during the overnight across East Alabama and West Georgia, though not zero, it is going to be very low. I think mostly what we're going to see this evening is going to be very gusty winds. We're kind of caught in that pressure gradient. That's kind of been the MO this year, where we have low pressure to our south, which is Nicole, and then we have high pressure to our north. And in between those two weather systems, the winds are going to be gusty. And that's going to happen well before the storm even makes it up into Georgia. So we're looking at a wind advisory that is now in effect and will continue through at least midnight tonight. Probably will get extended into 3 or 4 a.m. tomorrow morning for East Alabama and West Georgia. And winds will be gusting up to 35, perhaps even 40 miles per hour at some of the higher elevations across East Alabama and West Georgia. Now, that's not going to be sustained. We're looking at 15 to 20 mile per hour sustained winds with an occasional gust peak of 35 to 40 miles per hour. But that is certainly enough to bring down a few trees. It'll blow your objects around in your yard. I know some folks have already started putting up their Christmas decorations. You got trampolines, patio furniture, trash cans, anything that you've got outdoors that could potentially go away or head towards your neighbor's house. You need to secure this morning just to be on the safe side. And of course, with winds that high and rain moving in late this afternoon, we could see a few trees or tree limbs come down, which, you know what happens when we start to see that. A few power outages are certainly going to be possible across East Alabama and West Georgia. The rain doesn't make it here probably until late afternoon, and then most of the precipitation will fall during the overnight, and we could potentially see up to 2 inches of rain across East Alabama and West Georgia before all is said and done. All of this starts to pull out of here by mid-morning tomorrow. I think by tomorrow afternoon, what's left in the cold, which will probably be a depression by that time, will be headed to the South Carolina area and then eventually up into North Carolina. We go back to partly cloudy skies for Friday night football for high school playoffs. And then by Saturday, we're clear, but we have another storm system coming our way. It'll be a cold front, though I don't think it's going to bring much in the way of precipitation, if at all. But what it will bring with it is going to be lots of cold air, and we will be certainly feel like fall outside come Saturday and Sunday morning. We'll talk a whole lot more about that coming up a little later in this morning's weather forecast. So as we look at Friday, we're talking maybe some storms off to our west, but we should clear up nicely across East Alabama and West Georgia. Saturday, any stormy weather again would stay well off to our west, and we're not anticipating any precipitation with that cold front by the time it makes it into East Alabama and West Georgia Saturday morning. So here are the tropics. Again, the storm system, as we know, as Nicole, made landfall this morning sometime around 2 a.m. just north of Fort Pierce, Florida, and just south of Vero Beach. That's down in the southwest corner of the state of Florida. And at 4 a.m. this morning, the center of circulation was at 27.8 north, 80.7 west, maximum sustained winds of 70 miles per hour. Movement is west-northwest at 14 miles per hour. And that general motion is expected to continue today across central Florida. And then, like I said, the storm might make it back out into the Gulf of Mexico and then kind of hug the coast as it moves back up into the Big Bend area of Florida, and then curve right up into southwest Georgia to a point near Albany by 1 a.m. tomorrow morning. And then the storm is going to move right up through central Georgia, maybe Macon, Georgia, and then crossing I-20 just to the east of Atlanta, and then up to northeast Georgia, we think by 1 p.m. Friday afternoon. But from that point forward, the storm is going to get caught up in that approaching cold front from our northwest. It's going to kind of be like a slingshot. It's going to really kick Nicole out of here pretty quick as she will start to zip off to the northeast very quickly by tomorrow afternoon. And I think by tomorrow evening, we'll be well up into the Carolinas, moving away from East Alabama and West Georgia. Then our weather will start to improve, with the exception of the cold air that'll come barreling in here on Saturday. And, we're going to struggle to get out of the 50s. Well, actually, on Saturday, we might make it into the upper 50s, and then on Sunday, we'll struggle to get out of the 40s. We're talking daytime highs. So big weather changes on the way for East Alabama and West Georgia. So the current conditions at the East Alabama Bee Company, 67 degrees currently. The high temperature yesterday was 80. It was a beautiful day. Cloudy skies currently, wind out of the northeast at 4, gusting to 12. That will slowly increase as we go throughout the day. And the humidity is at 73%. That's surely going to go up also. Barometric pressure 30.12. No rain currently, but that will change. Sunrise this morning, 6:06 a.m. Sunsets this evening at 4:44 p.m. And don't forget to stop by ML Aubrey's, downtown Roanoke, and Randolph County Farmers Co-op up in Wedowee to pick up that East Alabama Bee Company honey. We're headed for 68 this afternoon in Roanoke, 70 in Ashland, Lineville, 68 in Wedowee and Woodland, 68 also at Ranburne. We'll top out at 68 degrees in Franklin, Alexander City at 71, and Auburn tops out this afternoon at 70 degrees. 6-day forecast from the Alpha Weather Center. Jamie Dukas, your local Alpha agent. We'll start the day with a few morning clouds. Those will continue to thicken as we go throughout the day. Maybe some rain after about 2 or 3 o'clock this afternoon. We'll give you a 50% chance. And then as the sun sets this evening and we get into the 8, 9, 10 p.m. time frame, that's when we expect to start seeing some of those feeder bands rotate through East Alabama and West Georgia. It's been a minute since we've had a tropical system, so let me remind you how this works. It's not a solid sat-in rain or sought-in rain, some of you older folks like to call it. It will be periods of rain, periods of gusty winds and periods of rain as those feeder bands rotate through the area. So occasionally we'll have periods of very heavy rainfall, gusty winds. It's going to be kind of like seeing a summertime thunder shower move through. It'll be gone, and then 15, 20 minutes later, here comes another one. And it'll last for 10 minutes or so, and then it's gone. And that pattern will continue to repeat itself as we go throughout the evening and as these feeder bands rotate through East Alabama and West Georgia. I don't think we're going to see a lot of thunder and lightning, maybe an occasional lightning strike. And as I said earlier at the top of this weather forecast, severe weather doesn't look likely at the moment for East Alabama and West Georgia, but it cannot be completely ruled out. We'll give you a 100% chance of rain this evening. I think the bulk of everything that we're going to see is going to be after about 8 or 9 o'clock tonight, and that will continue through about 7, 8, maybe even 9 a.m. tomorrow morning, and then weather conditions will start to improve. So we'll give you an 80% chance of rain through mid-morning tomorrow, Veterans Day, and then we go partly cloudy by afternoon. We'll make it to 68. Dry conditions for round 2 area high school football playoffs in Alabama tomorrow night. 51 your overnight low. Maybe a few clouds hanging around early Saturday morning as that cold front moves in. Our temperature is going to take a nosedive in the afternoon. We might make it to 61 by 12 or 1, then we'll start to see the temperatures fall. Winds will pick up out of the northwest, and we are headed for freezing on Saturday night. 32 your overnight low. Sunday is going to be a cold, breezy day. Again, some locations, especially you folks up there along the I-20 corridor, will struggle to get out of the upper 40s for daytime highs on Sunday. 31 your overnight low Sunday night, then Monday mostly sunny, a slow warming trend, 55 on Monday. Another cold front comes in on Monday night with a 50% chance of rain down to 40. Some of you may actually see some sleet, especially up in northeast Alabama and across the North Georgia mountains on Monday night into early Tuesday morning. 54 your high, a cold, wet day on the way for Tuesday. 41 your overnight low on Tuesday night. Southern Union State Community College live Doppler HD radar this morning showing what's left of Nicole. Nicole has been downgraded from a Category 1 hurricane to a tropical storm and has made landfall down there in southwest Florida. It'll continue again to move across central Florida and reemerge in the Gulf of Mexico somewhere north and west of Tampa, and then continue to the north probably for a couple of hours in the Gulf of Mexico, and then continue back across northern Florida, a little bit to the west of Tallahassee. And we're thinking maybe making entry into Georgia somewhere around Albany, and then a turn back to the northeast right across Macon, or maybe just a little bit south of Macon, and then up across I-20, and then into North Carolina, like I said, by about 1 a.m. or 1 p.m. Friday afternoon. Now, that's going to be relatively close to us. I mean, we're talking maybe 100 miles or so from East Alabama and West Georgia will be the closest approach as it moves up through Macon, Georgia during the overnight. So that is, this storm is very wide. We're talking at the moment, tropical storm force winds extend up to 400 miles to the north of the storm. Now, by the time it gets into central Georgia, those winds will not extend that far out. but I still think it's possible that the winds will be at least 100 miles out from the center of the storm. So though we don't have any inland tropical products issued by the National Hurricane Center for East Alabama and West Georgia, that wind advisory is out there. I wouldn't be surprised to see a high wind warning issued for portions of southeast Alabama and central and southern Georgia later on today. And though I think maybe occasionally we'll see a gust that will be approaching tropical storm force across East Alabama and West Georgia, I think we'll be just south of that number, so I'm not anticipating any tropical watches or warnings across our area. It's going to be windy, though, and we could see up to 2 inches of rain during the overnight this evening. But again, I want to emphasize, at the moment, we're not anticipating any significant severe weather across East Alabama and West Georgia during this event. However, all it takes is one tree to fall on your power line and knock out your power to make it a significant event for you. So be prepared for that possibility of a few power outages across the area as we deal with Nicole across East Alabama and West Georgia this evening. Don't forget to follow us on Twitter at DSTREN1040. We broadcast all of our weather information on Twitter, just as we do on Facebook, YouTube, and at drdonwx.com, which is our home on the World Wide Web. If you go to our website there on the home page, upper right-hand corner, you'll see a button that says Donate. That's a great way to support us here on Dr. Don's Weather. Also, those folks you see scrolling on the left-hand side of your screen, like Mr. Mark Mitchell at Bama Diesel Repair in Woodland, Alabama, and Mr. Roger Bell of Roger Bell Auto Brokers in Roanoke. Those are our partners. If you own a business and would like to be a partner here on Dr. Don's Weather, we can have you scrolling on that screen by this time tomorrow morning. All you got to do is send me a message on Messenger, and we'll get your ad started. Good Lord willing, and the creek don't rise, I'll see you back in your first thing tomorrow morning, unless it becomes necessary to go live this evening. If so, I'll see you then on Dr. Don's Weather.